Hi and welcome to Woof Wednesday. This week I'm going to be talking to you guys about tips for flying with your dog. Now first I'm going to give you a few resources to go to before I give you some tips and advice. But there's barkbuckleup.com, petair.com. There are resources at your local library or bookstore, if they even still exist, bookstores, because they're all going out of business like crazy. But maybe Amazon. AAA has one for traveling with your pet as well, but I would also check with any type of airline that you're going to go on as to what other types of regulations they may have. So on to the tips. Now you need to be most concerned about your dog, and so you need to make sure that all their shots and especially rabies vaccine are up to date. Also get them used to a lot of the noises and commotion that's going to be at the airport. If you were to travel by it or through the airport a few times beforehand, so they get used to the sounds of like the jet noises and the planes taking off. That could make them feel more at ease when you actually have to take them to the airport with you for flying. I also would recommend in their water bowl that they have, put a giant ice cubes in there, because that way they can lick them and then they'll melt and they'll turn into water rather than the water just spilling out during the time when they're transporting from the terminal to your actual plane. Now, when they do get to that area of the plane where they're going to be boarded, some advice here. Now, I would decorate the kennel, not for the dog's purpose, but for your sake, so you can recognize the kennel right away, and you'll be able to give a description rather than, well, it was in a plain beige kennel, because everyone's going to have that. If you decorate it with vibrant colors and distinctive items on there, it can make it a lot easier. Also, you want to have a photo ID of your dog on the outside of the kennel as well as on the inside of the kennel. Maybe even having it dangling from their leash while they travel too. But when they board your dog, they're going to board it with the pilot's luggage, which is usually in the front of the aircraft, as well as boarding it to the right of the aircraft as well. So you'll be able to easily see where this is going to be boarded, and you can wait until you get on the flight to make sure your dog is on the flight as well. Also, let me see here. Make sure your dog is microchipped. That is going to be very important. You also want to make sure that the kennels that you put them in, it allows them to be able to move around completely in it. If your dog is a medium-sized dog, they might be at a 300 level kennel, get the 400 so they'll be able to move around a lot easier. Now, different airlines have different regulations as to how much it costs to travel with your pet, but make sure you get that handled beforehand and you have a reservation for your dog as well. Also, because of extreme temperatures during the summer and winter months, you want to make sure that you're traveling at a time when those temperatures aren't going to be rampant out there. If you travel maybe early morning or late night, you could avoid some of the heat as well, but you also want to make sure that in case anything happens and you're stuck on the runway, that your dog isn't going to get overheated down below, or they're not going to freeze at all. There's also some controversy as to whether or not to tranquilize your dog during the flight. Now, a lot of people say you shouldn't do it. Some people think that you may need to do it for your dog, but that is a call that you're going to have to make with your veterinarian, because it could go in the same category as getting drunk on a flight. It could make you feel a lot worse because of the altitude, and if anything, you don't want to make your dog feel worse if you give them any type of medication. But that is it for Woof Wednesday. Oh, one other thing, bungee cords. If you were to attach a bungee cord from the inside of the door to the actual door itself, if the door were to fling open due to any kind of movement or moving around, your dog would not be able to get out. And this is important because a lot of dogs have gotten out and have been on the runways. They haven't been able to find them, and that's due to the door pushing open. So if you have that, the bungee door would close the door once again, making your dog protected. So thank you so much for watching Woof Wednesdays. Hope you guys are having a wonderful summer, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.